Summerslam, brought to you by Ica Pro. Ica Pro, for everybody that cares about their body.
The summer of wrestling, crack, and big butts. Welcome to Summerslam 1992 and the geekiest facts that you need to know about one of the most bizarre wrestling events of all time.
The British Bulldog's gonna win, whether he wants to or not.
Hey, little girl, no spoilers, okay? SummerSlam 1992 was the first WWE Pay-Per View event held in the United Kingdom. Although this was not the first WWE Pay-Per View event held outside of the United States. That honor belongs to Wrestlemania 6, held at the SkyDome in Toronto, Canada, famous for the Ultimate Challenge and this intimate, ultimate moment between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. The crowd at the world-famous Wembley Stadium set a major milestone. Most wrestling fans remember WrestleMania 3 or WrestleMania 32 with their large sellout crowds, but SummerSlam 1992 and its announced crowd of 80,355 people is the largest ever for SummerSlam and to date, still the fourth largest crowd in WWE history. For all the fans in the United Kingdom, SummerSlam was held on Saturday night and broadcasted live on pay-per-view. But for the United States audience, the event was broadcasted 2 nights later on Monday night. That's right, all SummerSlam pay-per-views prior to 1995 were held on Monday night. Weird, right? You know what else was weird? There was a slightly different broadcast for the United States audience. For some reason, all of the lucky Americans out there, well, they were treated to an exciting matchup between Crush and the Repo Man. USA, USA! Although this match wasn't very exciting, those people in the United Kingdom did miss the Crush mullet. Man, that thing is halfway down his back. SummerSlam 1992 kicked off with the Legion of Doom versus Money Incorporated, featuring Ted DiBiase and IRS, otherwise known as Irwin R. Shyster. Although many people remember the famous Legion of Doom entrance on motorcycles, not everyone remembers that one of the things on the motorcycle was Rocco, a puppet. This was the first and thankfully the only wrestling pay-per-view to ever have a ventriloquist puppet managing ringside. According to Road Warrior Animal, the Legion of Doom hated that puppet, and Rocco went mysteriously missing at the airport after SummerSlam. Rocco wasn't the only one who went missing after SummerSlam. Road Warrior Hawk, who was battling many personal demons at this time, never made the trip home, instead hanging out in the party scene in London. Hawk also left behind his partner Animal and went and joined New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was the last time the Legion of Doom made an appearance in the WWE for almost 5 years. The next matchup featured Nails, a wrestling escaped convict. I don't get it either. And wrestling superstar Virgil. This match was about as exciting as you can imagine. But the payoff for this match was the reason why Nails punched Vince McMahon in the face. A few months after SummerSlam 1992, Nails reportedly received a sum of $8,000 or $9,000 for this event. He was upset, feeling like he deserved more in that 5-star match with Virgil, and got in a confrontation with Vince McMahon, punching him, knocking him over, and then putting him in a chokehold. The altercation was quickly broken up by WWE officials. Nails was immediately fired, but before Vince McMahon could call the police, Nails decided to call them first and alleged that Vince McMahon made sexual advances to Nails, which is why the altercation happened. Although these allegations were never found to be true, Nails' phone call to the police may have prevented a lawsuit by the WWE and Vince McMahon. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and the model Rick Martel participated in the first and only match with the stipulation of, we will not hit each other in the face. You know, the Heartbreak Kid and the model can't sacrifice their good looks over a dumb wrestling match. This match ended in a double countout. But the thing that was most memorable was Sensational Sherry's giant butt just hanging out there in assless chaps. It's there, here, there again, and here. Are you ready for the geekiest fact in this entire episode? Good. Do you know the Beverly Brothers had a record of 33-1 coming into SummerSlam 1992 against the Natural Disasters? And this was their first loss on pay-per-view? Yeah, the Beverly Brothers. These guys. Bo, Blake. That's probably the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. Quick, tell me your favorite Beverly Brothers match. I'll wait. Now remember that special match just for the United States audience? Crush versus the Repo Man? Well, this was actually a pretty cool storyline, as these two used to be partners as Demolition. Now this is the first time Crush is making his pay-per-view debut in the orange and purple. I know, it's hard to figure out that the Repo Man was Smash, wearing that mask and the tire treads. This matchup between two former partners of one of the biggest tag teams of the 80s and 90s is a pretty cool moment. Not as cool as Crush's mullet, but again, pretty cool. Although The Undertaker ruined the reception of Miss Elizabeth and the Macho Man Randy Savage's wedding at SummerSlam 1991 just a year earlier, 1992 is when The Undertaker made his SummerSlam in-ring debut. Most wrestling fans know about The Undertaker's famous Wrestlemania record and the streak, but he also holds another record with 16 SummerSlam appearances. Now there is a lot to break down in the WWE Heavyweight Championship match between the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage, so stay with me. Although the title did not change hands, the Ultimate Warrior's count-out victory gave him a perfect record of 5-0 at SummerSlam, and this would also be his last appearance at this event. This was also the 1-year anniversary of when the Ultimate Warrior put a gun to Vince McMahon's head. Not literally, but that is what Vince McMahon stated in a WWE-produced documentary about the Ultimate Warrior, as the Ultimate Warrior was demanding $500,000 before performing at SummerSlam 1991. It is also rumored that WWE officials wanted the Ultimate Warrior to turn heel during this pay-per-view and align himself with Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair. The Warrior ultimately, get it? He refused. All right, let's move on. Intercontinental Championship matches have been some of the greatest in wrestling history. Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat, Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, but this was the first time that an IC title match headlined a major WWE pay-per-view event. The main reason for that? England's own British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, as the WWE wanted to provide the hometown crowd with a memory of a lifetime. Escorting the British Bulldog to the ring is World Heavyweight Boxing Champion Lennox Lewis, but at this time, this was Lennox Lewis's first pay-per-view event ever. Now, this main event match between Bret Hart and the British Bulldog is considered by many to be one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. And the reason for that success? Bret the Hitman Hart. According to Bret Hart's autobiography, Hart had a hard time tracking down the Bulldog in the weeks leading up to this event. When they were finally able to talk the night before the event, the British Bulldog admitted that he had spent the past couple weeks smoking crack with fellow Hart family in-law, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. This highlights just how great of a performer Bret Hart is in the world of professional wrestling. And those are the geekiest facts about SummerSlam 1992.